YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back with episode 2 of my top 100 players in the NFL for season 2020 through 2021 here. Based off the regular season and the playoffs kind of combined, recap the first episode, which was 100 down to 81. Now we're going to go 80 through 61. Keep going on. Top 10 will be its own video. So really excited about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Follow our Twitter for constant NFL talk. Subscribe to our channel for constant NFL content. Offseason content's already coming out. A lot more planned. Really excited about this offseason. Gonna be the best offseason yet here at the GOAT House. Here's our Twitter. Go ahead and follow it at GOAT House NFL. You guys are voting for, based on regular season and playoffs, best. You guys narrowed it down. So this is kind of the final. Only 3 hours or so left. Defense. There you go. Check out the Twitter. And here's the recap of the last episode, 100 to 81. So Keenan Allen came in at 100. Garrett Bowles, Fletcher Cox, Baker Mayfield, Antoine Winfield Jr., 96. Kirk Cousins, 95. Jeffrey Simmons, 94. Brandon Scherf, 93. DeMarcus Lawrence, Emmanuel Ugba, 91. Montez Sweat, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Zach Cunningham, J.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Jack Conklin of the Browns at 85. Joey Bosa, James Bradbury, David Onyemata, and 81 was the Bills safety Jordan Poyer. So that was 100 down to 81. Now let's go on to starting with number 80. We're going to go all the way down to 61, and then we'll do the next 20 in the next video. Number 80, though, is going to be Romeo Crable. So we've seen quite a few guys that popped up on the list that maybe we wouldn't have predicted to make the list, going into the year. Maybe Romeo Crable is one of them. He had a pretty solid season last year, so he started to get better and better, throughout his career here. So I guess it's not super surprising, but he was really the only impressive player on the Lions defense, really holding it together. He had a really productive season. Whenever you needed somebody to get after the quarterback, make a big play, get that strip sack, I felt like it was Romeo Crable. So yeah, he was extremely productive. The only thing really holding the Lions defense together. So, and he feels like, he's a veteran, but he feels like he's getting, better, improving more than you see guys improve at this stage of their career. And now they brought his brother in, Julian Okwara, in last year's draft, which I like that pick. So excited to see. And he's got a team option this year, this offseason, so he can be a free agent. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think they will want to keep the Okwara bros together. So that'd be pretty cool to see if that is the case. 79 is going to be Grady Jarrett. Yeah, Grady Jarrett's not a big, production guy. I mean, he has a good amount of production, but it seems like every year, he's more of a presence guy. He's going to get that interior pressure. I value interior pressure so much, and he's got to be towards the top of the NFL in interior pressure. I think quick trip to the quarterback, forcing the guys outside into your edge rushers, and the edge rushers got to get the sacks then. So that's why I think it's so key. Dominant stopping the run, gets double teamed like crazy. I think he's just the guy that, and the Falcons defense picked it up this year. At the end of the year, it looked like a pretty good defense, surprisingly. And so they had quite a few pieces that were key and solid. I think it's pretty clear that Grady Jarrett is the guy that holds together that Falcons defense. And yeah, his presence is felt every single week, and you can see he's, maybe the best player on the field when the Falcons defense is out there. 78, it's going to be Trent Williams. Yeah, going to the Niners. Good to see him playing again this year. It was extremely impressive, and there really wasn't too much doubt, but then you do worry, he didn't play recently kind of going into this year. But yeah, still has that talent level, and you see that, out there at left tackle, and was a key addition to the Niners. It was weird because the Niners offensive line almost, it probably didn't feel as good as it was when it went to the Super Bowl, but Trent Williams was, that specific spot made them a lot better, I thought. So it's kind of interesting. Let's see if he comes back. See if they, re-sign him here this offseason, because he is a free agent, but he's number 78. 77 is going to be J.C. Jackson, interception king here. Playmaking ability, obviously always making his plays. And that's huge. It's a game-changing ability there for the Patriots. I do think, he got beat in coverage here and there, and that's okay. It wasn't a guy that was completely locked down. You look at other playmakers, maybe they were, making more stops and when they weren't getting those interceptions. So I felt like he was either making that big-time play, getting an interception, or, he got beat a few times this year. So that's why, stat watchers look at the interceptions. You think he's way higher up on the list. Very good player. I had a third-round grade out of him in Maryland, so I was shocked that the Patriots got him undrafted. So I'm glad that he's playing very well here. He's a playmaker, and that's what they need him to be out there with hopefully Gilmore on the other side, which should be at least for another year. So, really good season. Kind of even though I kind of saw the breakout last year, I thought, I guess this is more known as the breakout season. So heck of a year for him. Corners are going to start to fly off the board here for us. I got Marcus Peters at 76. Marcus Peters is a good combination of a playmaker, an instinctive corner at the same time. Pretty physical. He has more physicality than he's given credit for. The cornerback position is just so damn important in the Ravens scheme. It's ridiculous. There are a lot of defenses out there where cornerbacks really, they shouldn't really value it, or they don't value it a whole bunch because it's just not that important looking at their defense. And their scheme, well, they'll keep their corners on the island. They'll run a lot of man coverage. They'll blitz a ton, so there's not too much help in coverage. They bring their safeties up in the box. They don't really have a deep safety, that plays back there. A lot of the time you see Elliott back there sometimes, but they like to bring their safeties up a little bit. So their cornerbacks have to be on an island, good on an island, need to be good in press, good in, man, zone, everything. And Marcus Peters is one of the best in the league at it. He's so good at reading the quarterback every single year. I think him and Marlon Humphrey complement each other so good that they make each other better, on opposite sides of the field. And sometimes you'll see like Humphrey line up in a slot too. So maybe sometimes they're on the same side, but you get my point. So, another presence guy, but he makes those big time plays in the crucial moments as well. Cornerback's a crazy one. By team, how important it is. It's just different. And the Ravens, to run that defense, you have to have one of the best, and they probably have the best cornerback duo in football. So big reason why Peters is number 76. 75 is going to be Daryl Williams. I thought Daryl Williams had a ridiculous year at right tackle for the Bills. He stayed healthy. That was kind of the key there. Daryl Williams has been a really good right tackle for some time, playing for the Panthers. And we knew this was his talent level. Most of us knew, but we really didn't get to see it. We really couldn't say for sure because he was constantly getting hurt, and he stays healthy, and he was dominant for the Bills. I thought he went up against, see, a lot of these top tier pass rushers are rushing against right tackles these days. So the right tackle used to be just get the damn left tackle in place. Don't value the right tackle. I mean, you got to value it, but not a whole bunch. Totally different era now. These big-time pass rushers rushing from the right side. Example, T.J. Watt. I thought Daryl Williams dominated T.J. Watt. That's just one game, but that was just an example there. So he had an insane season protecting Josh Allen. And, they went on a streak. When their offense went on the streak, when the team went on a streak, the offensive line was on a streak of just dominant play. I thought it started with Daryl Williams. So he comes in at 75, really good year. Another corner, Xavier Rhodes, 74 on the list. Another guy that we probably didn't expect to be on the list after his last couple years, but he used to be probably way up there on the list because he used to be one of the best corners, maybe the best in football, but a really good season, really good bounce back season. Here's the thing about Xavier Rhodes. I thought he had a lockdown season, really good year. Yeah, I think the Colts scheme, you don't really value corners a whole bunch because they're not asking their corners to do a whole lot. So it might be a little easier on a guy. He has an easier task than a guy like Marcus Peters. Easier task, but he had a lockdown season. And he got his hands in the ball a little bit as well. I mean, right off the get-go, from the Jets game early on, even started like that. But yeah, he, most of the time spent his, did his job covering the flat, but he also was asked to be physical, press a lot. And there's a lot of corners that just can't run cover two out there. You look at the Raiders; those guys are struggling. It's an example. So I thought Rhodes did a really good job. Again, was locked down. They do ask a lot from their safeties and linebackers and coverage from the Colts, but you can't take away what kind of season Xavier Rhodes had, and a bounce-back season too. And staying healthy. He came off the field like he usually does sometimes, but I think a couple of years ago he got hurt pretty bad and was out for a while, and I think that affected him, so it's good to see him getting going again. 73 is going to be Tyler Lockett, so a receiver on the list of the Seattle Seahawks. Him and DK, the duo of the Seahawks, and just that another duo that I think complements each other very, very well. But Lockett was when you really need somebody to get that separation, when you really need, on a third down to get that deep ball connection. I thought, and I guess it could be DK too, but I thought Lockett was crucial in that. How many one-handed, even if it's kind of using his body, catches downfield does this guy get in crucial moments and getting the separation? It always seems like in the back corner of the end zone, either side. So, yeah, another really productive year for Tyler Lockett there. The offense did get cold at the end of the year, which was surprising there for the Seattle Seahawks. But yeah, another very productive year for Tyler Lockett. He comes in at 73. Again, this is probably the most receivers I've had, and we're only at 73, but the most receivers I ever had on my top 100 list, because there's so many damn good ones that are just it's such a big time position in today's era. 72 is going to be Chase Young, the defensive rookie of the year. Yeah, if you look at the stats, Chase Young doesn't have the greatest stats. I guess a good amount of production, but yeah, he's way more of an impact than that. Getting pressure, hitting the quarterback, good amount of QB hits that affected plays. But people don't realize how dominant he is in the run game, stopping the run. He might already be debatable, but you actually can, think about him, debate him, that he might be the best run-stopping defensive end in football already, which is ridiculous. So that's where he stood out to me. He did his job. We could actually expect a little more production, sack-wise, QB hit, pressure-wise. We could expect more. We're going to get more. We're going to for sure get more. So some could say maybe he was a little underwhelming. Again, he was a rookie in that, but he was so dominant stopping the run. I thought he came up in the biggest moments, too. I noticed, the impact moments. So that really stands out to me. So heck of a season for the rookie. This is a guy that we continue. When I do this video next year, I expect him to be way higher than 72. So let's see if he goes and gets that done there. 71 is going to be maybe the best center in football this year. Corey Linsley of the Green Bay Packers held it down there. He's going to be a free agent. That's going to be interesting, too, because how do the Packers value that position? Linsley was so good this year, but do they view it as – because teams don't really value the center position. When they draft them, they don't typically – sometimes they don't really they wait to round 3, maybe at the earliest. It depends on the team, obviously, but and they don't pay them a bunch in free agency. And, sometimes, if they can snap the ball, then, yeah, he can work if the rest of the unit is great. And they do have a really good unit. So it's going to be interesting to see if they think they can just plug almost anybody in there and it can be that effective. So that'll be interesting to see. But, yeah, dominant year, very efficient. You look at, run blocking and then not, allowing much pressure there from the interior, which you don't typically expect centers to do so, but I think you look at both those categories, I think he was equally consistent. There's some guys that are really good in this category, that one category, and there's one guy that same guy's not so good in the other. So I thought, that's kind of what made him the best center. He's consistent and good in both categories. So he's at 71. Number 70, another receiver, Allen Robinson of the Bears, makes the list. They're a productive year. I thought I saw him playing a slot a little more this year. I like that a lot because you kind of view this guy as a contested possession catcher, receiver. He's not going to get a whole bunch of separation, but if you get, in the ball in his area, he's going to dominate that category. He's definitely one of the better contested catchers. So they put him in a slot and, showing, the quickness that he has, the ability to find the open space and zones. And that's kind of what I was looking more from him going into this year. But even in the season, going down the stretch, can this guy, produce against, zone coverage? Because more of these top receivers that get the separation, they're producing more against zone coverage. So I actually saw that from Allen Robinson down the stretch. And, he find ways to be extra productive with the quarterback. They have their own quarterback carousel, I guess, just switching quarterbacks, and it's not the best play out there. So that was impressive. He's going to be a free agent. I think the Bears would like him back, but for the right price. Yeah, I guess that brings up another debate. Do you pay a receiver $20 million, or I don't know if you'll get that much, $18 million per year when some of these young guys are just taking over and they're cheap? So I guess that's the debate there, but very good receiver. I like to see him seeing him get some production from the slot as well this year. So he comes in at number 70. 69 is going to be a former Bear, actually, Packers safety Adrian Amos. I thought he had a monster season for the Packers, playing that strong safety role, playing in the box a ton, solid in coverage, but I thought he made some impact plays in the backfield, being super instinctive and, sniffing out plays. But yeah, it was super good for them this year. That secondary was pretty strong because, Alexander and their two safeties like Amos. So, yeah, he came from the Bears where he was pretty good. There was guys that were better on that defense, and it was an elite defense at the time. So you kind of wondered, will he be better? Could he be better? Will he be worse away from elite defense? But now he's playing the best ball he has in his career, so he's actually getting better. So that's fantastic for him, and growing with a guy like Darnell Savage, who's getting better. who is another guy that's probably close to making this list and could be on his way. Amos comes in at 69. Number 68 is going to be Laramie Tunsil, the Texans tackle. Really the only good piece of the Texans offensive line. You see the difference with him and out, but Watson didn't have too much to worry about, on the left side there. So that does make his job easier because a little bit there, because sometimes, he's got somebody coming from his front, from his back. He knows which way he immediately has to go and try to throw on the run or escape. So it did. They traded away a lot, but it's almost worth it because it's so hard to find a viable left tackle here. So hopefully he stays healthy long term. But yeah, he had a pretty damn good year, and he's trying to carry this offensive line and help Deshaun Watson as much as he can here. Hopefully he still has Deshaun Watson to protect next year. He's at 68. 67, another wide receiver, Adam Thielen. I'm in the way. You guys know it says Adam. Touchdown machine this year. Very productive. I thought another one of those guys that, it's a big moment. We need a big-time catch for a touchdown, a first down. It's third down. I think he doesn't get enough credit for his contested catch ability because we know him. He's all about his footwork. He's pretty quick. He just gets the separation pretty good after the catch. That's what he's known for. He had a monster year with contested catches, but tracking the football as well, and so many ridiculous catches that resulted in touchdowns. So he was a machine down there. Jefferson got the yards. Thielen got the touchdowns. Really good year, and it was a big reason why that was probably the Vikings' best offensive season since the Brett Favre year, really. So, he was a big piece of that. Obviously, they're able to throw the ball more than they usually do, not just a running team anymore, hopefully, going forward. 66, Leonard Floyd. How about the season from Leonard Floyd? Another guy we definitely did not expect to be on the list, heading into, if we were to predict, heading into this year. But he was very productive. You see, he kind of takes that Dante Fowler role, which, Fowler was most productive when he was playing with the Rams next to outside of Aaron Donald. So maybe you can almost put anybody in that, not just anybody, but you get my point. But it doesn't change that Floyd definitely got better. He improved his game a lot. From the Bears, he was pretty underwhelming there, and he was playing with some good guys there as well. So, he was extra productive this year, not just getting sacks, too, when he needed to contain, stay outside, read the quarterback, get his hands up in the air. So I thought he was extra productive. Another guy that showed up in big moments. He's 66 on the list. 65 is going to be Tristan Wirfs, so another rookie here, the rookie right tackle from Iowa. The Bucs had to just move up a little bit in the draft to make sure they got him, and boy, did that pay off because he was the best rookie tackle. This year we knew he was a plug-and-play, instant pro-ready guy, especially being the last piece of the puzzle to the Buccaneers' offensive line and playing under Tom Brady, and that worked out very well for them, protecting Tom Brady, a big reason why they won the Super Bowl. So you see, that Bucs offensive line, struggled here and there, was pretty inconsistent, and it felt like they just needed a right tackle. It felt like some other pieces they're solid, but they could be a little better. But then as soon as you get that last piece of the puzzle, the entire offensive line, Brady probably had something to do with it too, but the entire offensive line is one of the better ones in football. So you see Wirfs' impact, was huge for them. So he comes in at 65 and is playing the playoffs. Super Bowl definitely helped him rise up the list a bit to 65 there. 64 is going to be Nick Chubb, the running back of the Browns. Yeah, if he didn't miss a stretch of time, I guess he probably would have been way higher on this list. But, guy that missed some time, it shows how impressive he is that he's still, easily on the list, I guess. But, the Browns are all about running the ball first. They can throw, but they want to run, open up the pass, and a big piece is Nick Chubb. And even Kareem Hunt was actually close to making the list as well. So just so important to them, and he's such a dominant runner, and I think he's getting better in terms of, it almost feels like he's getting faster, which is crazy, and he's, on the outside, I think he's getting better, because we knew he's a strong dude, could hit inside the tackles, but somehow he's getting better in those other categories. So, stays healthy for a full season, probably well inside the top 50, so he's 64. For this past season. 63, Justin Simmons, the Broncos free safety. Was on the list last year as well. Maybe not quite as high. I thought he had a little better year last year, but still another guy that's just so important. There's not too many free safeties that are really important to defenses, but in this defense, he is extremely, extremely important. Kareem Jackson comes up in the box quite a bit.
They didn't have too much corner help last year because of injuries, and that's kind of the one spot they were thin. So Justin Simmons has to cover. There's a lot of times where he has to cover 100% of, anything over 15, 20 yards of the 100% of the field, which is ridiculous. You have to have crazy vision, instincts, range, athletic ability. So, his job is extremely hard. If they somehow make his job easier, he's going to produce more, and he's going to look like the best safety in football. So he can be even higher on the list. So, I respect Justin Simmons a ton just because, how important he is and what he has to do. So he's a free agent. They will definitely want to get him back because, like I said, he is extremely important. There's a lot of teams that don't really value the free safety a whole bunch. The Broncos have to with a guy like Justin Simmons. 62 is going to be Quinn Williams, big bad Quinn Williams. We're starting to see his potential. This guy's going to be an absolute freak. New scheme there. Robert Saleh, with Quinn Williams, it's gonna be fun. I expect this guy way, way higher than 62. Could we be talking top 10 player of the future? I think so, actually. This guy's going to be an absolute stud. You can move him around the defensive line. They're going to be doing more of that now with this new scheme. He can line up pretty much anywhere on the defensive line, and he's such a dominant run stopper. Gets that pressure. He did that, and he got those sacks. Extremely productive. He really got going. There was a random trade talks. There was some. I don't know how true they were. They end up kind of being on the BS side. I don't know how true they were, but and then right after that, he took off. So if he what he did in the second half of the season, if he did it the complete year, he'd be way up there. And again, I no doubt in my mind he's going to be a top 25, we'll say at least, player going forward. I really think we got an elite player here, on our hands, on our case here for the NFL. So I'm really excited about Quinn Williams. 61 going to be Brandon Graham of the Eagles. I think a do-it-all defensive end every year, but specifically this year, he didn't rack up. There might be guys behind him that got more sacks than him, but he had a good enough production. But he was so dominant stopping the run as well. Just such a key piece of that D-line. That defensive line is really holding that Eagles defense together. Brandon Graham, he's still trucking at his age. You start thinking, is this guy going to decline yet? Is he going to decline yet? No, he's not. Maybe not quite as good as the Super Bowl year or years around there, but he's in the ballpark, obviously. So, I think equally effective getting after the quarterback and stopping. Talking about Chase Young, when we were on Chase Young, I'm like, he actually might be one of maybe the best run-stopping defensive end in football already. Brandon Graham's probably at the top right now, or one of the guys at the top, so he's in that discussion as well, and probably a little better, obviously. He comes in at number 61 there for the for this year on the Eagles here, and if they put together, because that defensive line is so good, so if they get a quick turnaround, put together some linebackers and secondary, pair with Darius Slay, and then to pair with the defensive line. The defensive line's so good, and they'll be in business. So we'll see. He comes in at 61. That is 80 through 61. Next episode will obviously be 60 through 41. Had to think about it for a second there. And then another episode after that. And then we got the last episode, top 10 by itself. So can't wait to reveal all of that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. There's polls keeping you guys involved. Constant NFL talk, breaking news, takeaways on that, all of that on the Twitter right away when it happens. Off-season content already underway. A lot more to come, so please subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Turn notifications on so you don't miss a thing. It's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.